In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your ConvertKit forms completely customized, and in this example, we're going to make it look like this one. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set up a blank form. This is a brand new form that you're going to use. So for this one, we're going to create one, label it test, do not use, so it doesn't get mixed up and used for anything. So this is what the standard form looks like when you get started. Now you can make some changes here, like you can change this, so we can change the text to something else. So we'll put yes please on the submit button, and when you click the magic icon you can change like the text and the accent and the button colors, but as you can see we're going to do a lot more than just that. So let's save this so it saves our yes please, and then we're going to load settings and we're going to go down to style. Delete that because we're not going to get started. So you can choose your basic style here. For this one, we're just going to start with the naked form and have it inline. So you're going to want to view this as you do it. So I control click and open it in a new tab so we can see our changes as we go through things. So let's save it so it's completely blank and we see what the blank form looks like when we get started. Alright, you can see the only change that it has done is change the button text to yes please. Other than that, everything is still standard ConvertKit styling. So for this, you're going to want to use the Chrome developer tools to figure out exactly which element you're going to be customizing with CSS. So you can click the three icons, go down to more tools and developer tools. And this tool is really great if you're on a website and you won't think they've done something really awesome and you want to know how to do it. You can totally cheat and look behind the curtain of their website. So you can click this button with the box with the arrow to inspect an element. So we're going to get started with this form. So let's highlight what we're using. The basic form, we're going to change the background first. So we've highlighted it. It hops down to the HTML where it is and tells us that. But if you move over to this other box, you can see styles. And this is the CSS for this form. So we're going to change the background. So we want to go right here and just copy these. And by copying it, you know that you are grabbing the right code. So we'll go back down to style, custom CSS. We'll paste that in. So like I said, we're working on the background first. So when you're working with CSS, you have the selectors there, and then you put everything for that selector that you want to customize inside some curly brackets. So let's open that up. And now we're going to pull our background. So we're doing a background image. So we'll type that with the URL. And after every line, every change that you want to make sure that you end it with a semicolon. So now we're going to place the URL, and this will be wherever you have it hosted. So I've actually loaded it on my website. I just added it to my media library, so I'm going to go and copy that file URL, but you can use any other file hosting thing and place the image there. So now we've got the background. So let's click save and see what that one change looks like. It should add our background there. So let's refresh this page and it's added our background image. Now for me, this is a little large, so I want to scale it down maybe 50% of the size so that it repeats. So let's go back to here and we're going to make some more changes. So we can do background size and let's do 50%. Let's save that. And then come over here and refresh the page. And that looks much better. It's scaled it down so you can see the repeating pattern a bit more. So the next thing we're going to want to do to this section is to add our border on the top and our border on the bottom. So we're still working in the same section, so let's add a border top. Let's do 7 pixels, solid. And the color we're going to use, I have this palette pulled up from Coolors. We're going to do this green color. So let's copy that. Paste it in right there. Don't forget the pound sign before it and the semicolon after. Now let's add our border bottom. This one, do 3 pixels, solid, and the same green color. All right, so let's save that. And you see we've got our border on the top and the border on the bottom. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for the background section. So now let's move on to styling our submit button. So again, we're going to grab this inspect code, we're going to highlight over it, click it so that it pops up over here. We're going to copy and paste our selectors, copy that. We're going to go back into our style form, but because now we're working in a new section, we want to start a new one. We forgot to copy. We'll go back, highlight it again, Command copy, hop back over, paste, and again, we're going to start with our curly brackets, open that up. So in this section, we're going to start by changing the background color. So background-color, we're going to change it to the green. So we'll grab our color here. And paste our color in there. And let's add a border around this one. So let's do border. We're gonna do 2 pixels, solid, and we want the color to be in this green, but we want it to be a little bit different. So let's do alternate shades, and we're right here in the middle. So let's do 2 shades darker. And we're gonna copy that, paste that there. And something else we wanted to add to this is we wanted the rounded corners on the button. So let's add a border radius, and let's do a 5 pixel radius. So because we want it to be a consistent 5 pixels on each corner, we can just put in one 5 pixel thing. If you wanted each of the corners to be differently, you could do that and use separate ones all within the same, going in a clockwise position. All right, so let's save this and see what our submit button looks like. Okay, so now you can see we've got the green color, the borders a little different, and okay, now there's something else I want to do to this button to make it a little different. I want to change the color to the same color that's in the background of my pattern. So we're going to come back over to here, and before our background color of the button, let's just add a color, and this will just change the text. So we'll grab our color and paste that in. Okay, and that's all we're going to do for the submit button. Now, some other things that you could do that I'm not going to, you could change the fonts. You could select a different font family. You could make it all uppercase within the coding here if you didn't want to type it in all uppercase. So those are just some of the things you could do. So let's save this, look at our color change. It shouldn't be too noticeable, but just a little bit. All right, and you see that change. So now we're gonna move on to the input fields. So like the other two selections, we're gonna grab that, highlight over one, click it so that it opens on the sides. So you could do one form, one input box, or you could do both. So I'm going to do both because I want them both to have the same look. So then we're gonna come back over to our custom CSS box, paste that in, open our curly brackets. So for this, there are a couple of things I wanted to do. I want to change the background color to the same color, our off-white color. So let's do background color. Let's grab our color code again. Paste that in. I want to change the border radius to match the other. So border radius, 5 pixels again. And those are the only two changes that I wanted to make to the input fields. Again, as before, you could change the fonts, you could change the size of the font to make those a little different. Use your, you could change the color of the text. You could add a background to the box, to the input fields. But for now, this is all we're doing. So let's save this. And we'll refresh our page here. Okay, and here is our custom ConvertKit form. You can see our background changed on the input fields, and the corners are rounded on all of them. So let's see, while you're in the developer tools, you can see what it would look like on a mobile device. So let's see what it'd look like on an iPhone 6 Plus, the bigger screen. So you'd have the two input fields next to each other, the button below. Let's see, maybe an iPhone 5, you would have the 3 stacked. And again, you can see the pattern, repeated enough to fill that. And that is because I used something called a seamless pattern. So I grabbed this pattern off of Creative Market, and I tweaked the colors in Adobe Illustrator to match this branding and saved it. Now I didn't have to repeat the pattern within our custom CSS because by default, this is the standard thing that it will do. It will repeat on the X and Y axis until the space is filled. So that's why it looks a little different. You can see more or less of it depending on the size and the layout of the box. So I know I mentioned a lot of CSS and you may not know any, and that's okay. A great resource that I use to find things is css-tricks.com/almanac. And if you have any questions on anything, you want to know if you can do something or how to do it, you can find all of that here. So if you know you want to change a background, you can go here, see the different background things you can do. Same with borders. Anytime you have a question, this is a good place to come look to see how to do it, even if you don't know how to code or know any CSS at all.